Alright, hey, what's up guys? It is the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video, and this is LOL Podcast Season 2, Episode 22? Right? This is 22? I think it is, but nevertheless, it'll fix itself in the video when it gets released. And I'm joined here today by, good lord, Kisuke Urahara, not really Kisuke, but Ghostan and Neurocentric. So how are you guys doing today?
Fine.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. How was your guys' quarantine thing going?
I'm in New York, so.
Oof! Yikes!
Yeah, I'm in Texas, but I was born and raised in New York and have family in New York, so I'm just constantly worried about them.
Otego, how you doing, man? My man.
Hey guys, how you going?
How's your quarantine thing going?
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting, man. Okay, yeah, we're all three in the big states. I'm in California, and yeah, people here don't want to be in quarantine anymore. They've been telling the governor that they want to go back to work. So yeah, I think by everything I've heard so far, and by everything we're doing, we're gonna eventually get back to work by the end of the month. So things most likely will probably be fully opened by May 31st or June 1st. That's just for California. I don't know about anywhere else.
They've started reopening the state. My job hasn't really changed because my full-time job, I work from home, so it's not really any different, but going out kind of sucks. Like, if I need to go to the store, I worry that people aren't practicing social distancing or wearing masks.
Oof, yeah, I can't trust people. But it's... as I told people before, it's all going to be over at some point. So at least we are kind of moving forward. And so the most popular topic of this week has been either TSM and their double situation with Lina and Thorin and all those other guys. And then you have Jack joining Team Liquid. Then you have the last topic basically is kind of for fun. Who would win your MSI 2020 out of the top 4 teams that are going to be the strongest? You have JDG, SK Telecom T1, and their new brand name is T1 for those who are just, watching, obviously. And you have G2 and Cloud9. Obviously, G2 had a really stellar last year. They were the best Western team of all time. And then you have Cloud9 coming into this year. They made great roster decisions. Like, I really love them, and then they're obviously super dominant. So let's start with a one that'll ease into it. Let's start with the most controversial one, the whole Jat and TL. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Jat joining TL? Is this kind of the same level of hype you have going into it, like Papa Smithy for 100 Thieves, Deficio with like Origin, and then you have, what was the other one? Deficio, Origin, 100 Thieves, Papa Smithy, and then
Mithy for Fnatic.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about this?
I mean, personally, I'm excited for Jat. I think that he's extremely knowledgeable. I think he knows the game very, very well whenever he's talking in an analytical sense or he's talking as a color caster. I feel that he really does understand the game very well. But this is, I mean, it's hard to get really hype about someone who's never coached before. Mm-hmm. I think that there's definitely a worry there, especially with a team like Team Liquid. I mean, if he was going for like CLG, it's like, okay, he can probably make them better. Or if he was going to like one of the mid-level teams, but you're talking about Team Liquid. I mean, everything is on the line here. They just literally traded one of the best AD carries, away, and so I think there's a lot at stake for this one. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm excited for him. It's not like I don't like Jat. I just don't know that there should be a specific amount of hype when we don't even really know what he can do.
I can see it. Yeah, I mean, once I heard it, I actually thought I got trolled yesterday, because you know how like you have your notifications like turned on. So when I was at work and I got my notifications for it, I was like, Jat joining Wells. Like, what in the world? What the heck? Like, why are they trolling? This is not April Fool's. And then nope, turns out that was the actual Jat. I mean, to be fair, I'm optimistic about it. I don't think it's the worst thing, but I don't think it's like incredibly bad either. So I'm kind of like in the middle with it. I really want him to succeed at it because it proves that like for the future that casters can be really good head coaches, because DeFicio didn't become a head coach, nor did Papa Smithy. The whole Mithy thing, despite people like railing on Fnatic, I mean, it did work out. They did get second place in its first split. Like, that's an accomplishment in itself. A brand new coach getting a legacy organization like Fnatic all the way to the finals in their very first split. Like, I like that.
Yeah, so for me, it's a bit strange because it just seems like the organization has no idea what they're doing, because why would you have this problem with Doublelift and then change the coach? So who's making that decision? Because it seems like I mean, was it the coach and the staff getting rid of Doublelift? And then if it is, then why would you then change the head coach? So, like, they could have fixed all their problems in Team Liquid if they just got rid of the coach at the beginning and then kept Doublelift, because then you would have a different environment for everyone to work in. I don't even know if they know what they're doing. Like, Team Liquid are a team, an organization that seems to throw money at everything. So, I think they're trying to throw money to fix a problem, like trading, like getting Broxer over Smithy. I think from what's happened with Team Liquid, I think they're really not. I'm not too sure if they deserve to have their reputation as high as it is after the way they've treated Doublelift and the way they're going about with this trading. Because, like, the betrayal on Doublelift, and then they change the coach. That makes no sense, because you could have fixed the problem with Doublelift if you just changed the coach in the first place. So it's like the horses pushing the cart. Like, they have no idea what they're doing, it seems like. It's a complete mess. Or maybe they lost Doublelift, so they thought, we can't do this anymore, so we're going to change the coach because he's not going to do it. To me, they just look a complete joke.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that Doublelift, was like, I don't care who you get as coach, I don't care what you do, I'm still leaving regardless. Because Doublelift made that vlog about what happened in his perspective, and then I can't remember which coach it was that did the twit longer about what he saw. Dodo. Yeah, Dodo. And then now Dodo isn't he like a strategic coach now? He's not like a head coach. Like, they move things around, so it's obvious that Team Liquid has some severe, like, internal problems that stem probably way deeper than just Doublelift. But it sounds to me like Doublelift didn't want to stay regardless of what they did. So maybe they thought Jat would be like a new face and maybe like a new type of like a vibe, like a different type of vibe for Team Liquid, maybe to change things around. But I agree with Otago there. Like, there's definitely something up.
Ghostan, what do you think?
The bad situation?
Yeah.
I think he has the opportunity to be a good coach. Again, like, my thoughts are like he could be beat up in the room talking, maybe, I think, to everyone. So that's always a concern I have. I don't know. Like, it's unproven to me that casters can make the transition well. Yeah, Papa Smithy could be used as an argument, but I don't think. Yeah,
because he didn't really head coach. He went from caster to general manager. That's
exactly.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, because DeFicio, like with Papa Smithy, he didn't become a head coach. He became like one of those behind the scene type guys. And then obviously you have the only actual example you have it of working out is Mithy. Mithy turning from well-known support, kind of inted half his career away at a certain point, to Fnatic's coach, and they got second place in his very first split as a coach, which is, I mean, pretty good. But I think that if looking at Mithy and Jat, if they can set the precedent for it, I think that could be pretty good. As long as you have like nice pillars of really great foundations of what they want to do moving forward, I think it can work. But in my own personal opinion, being a head coach is not what everybody like thinks it is, and it's not also as black and white as a lot of coaches make it out to be. It's like a combination of a lot of things that goes into it. What do you guys think?
I think that I would make the argument that with Jat, I think it's a different type of scenario, because he wasn't just a color caster. He was on the analyst desk. He was part of the balance team. He does have extensive knowledge of the game, and I think that might put him in a different, like, kind of path, rather than someone, say, like Captain Flowers, who can tell you, what's exactly happening in the game, but may not have as much in-game knowledge as Jat. And I think having that kind of analytical knowledge about the game could probably really help in a in a head coach mindset. But that's, still to be determined. We haven't seen him do this yet. I'm going to wait to see what, he does with Team Liquid before I really say, like, oh yeah, this was a good choice. Mm-hmm. I'm still kind of in the, I don't know, camp, but at the same time, I do think he has more of a shot than, say, someone who probably doesn't have as much knowledge.
Yeah, I'm in that range too. I also think that it's I think Ortega brought it up too. It's also branding, because they did lose Doublelift, so bringing in a huge brand name like Jat is also really good as well. Because once you lose a big branding portion, that's a big blow to the team in a certain way. Not like it's like super detrimental, but it's also a place where they can go, oh, Jat's on that team. Jat coaches that team. I want to go support Team Liquid because I like Jat. So that's another thing I was thinking about currently, right now. Ortega, did you have anything else, or?
Yeah, so when it comes to casters and analysts, the concern that I've got is that being an analyst, you're not a creator. So you're always, even if you look really good, the best that you look as an analyst or as a caster, you're always after the game and you're saying, well, they could have done this. You're always hindsight's 20/20 and you look like a genius. But being a coach is not about analyzing what things are happening now. It's about understanding what's going to be in the future. So, like, why do everyone look to, like, the LPL now? Because, two-time world champions. They're looking to create something new. What is the new thing on the block? An analyst is not somebody who is creating something new. They're analyzing what exists. And as a head coach, you don't get a lot of value out of just being a hindsight person. Even if you were to, like, have Team Liquid playing a scrim and then he sat down and analyzed everything that's going on, he could sit down and analyze the entire match. But as a coach, you're not wanting to analyze the match that's in front of you. You want to make your team the best team in the world. So you're actually trying to compare, like, two LCS teams together and analyze how to make them better against each other. But that's not what you want as a head coach. You want to make an LCS team and make them the best team in the whole world. So it's tricky, and then also it's not about just analyzing, because you got so much of the mental game that comes with it, individual issues as a team and coordination. So many things that can help with as a coach don't even come down to analyzing the game itself. It's actually to deal with the person one-on-one. So, like, that, I think Papa Smithy is more of a motivational speaker. Maybe not motivational speaker, but he's more like a big friend. Like, he comes across as someone who is, like, trying to connect with the people. He's trying to find out what is making them tick, and that's also a big part of coaching. You got to, like, deal with the players, and that's why he's not, like, a huge driving factor. So there's so many different parts of it. I don't know how it's going to go, but those are my thoughts and the reasons why it would be tricky to figure out.
Also, since a lot of people who are probably maybe into the podcast, if you have ever watched, like, traditional sports, it's very taxing to balance out personalities. Like, let's say you're at your job, your boss has to balance out personalities and how certain people can work together. I don't know, personally, if he can balance their personalities in a certain way that'll make them super effective, because it's not about just having the best players, it's about, like, what you do with them, because some people think that you can just have all the G2 players and have success. That's not even close to how that works, As a coach, you are supposed to have your players buy into what you're actually trying to get them to achieve, and all he has is his experience. Now, the players will have to, I'm pretty sure they'll respect him. That's not what I don't think will happen. I think it's going to be a weird transition point, because you're going to have that point where he's not going to know what to do, because he's very new at what he's doing, and he's going to be learning it kind of like how Youngbuck was learning head coaching back in 2016 when he was on G2. That's just what I think about it right now. I think the move is fine, but it's not going to have, like, without its problems moving forward. I mean, I think it will make TL roughly about maybe 3rd or 4th place during, obviously, when I do my, power rankings that are going to be mostly pretty hard because the whole split was, convoluted and mess. James, you're here now. How you doing, bro? What do you think about Jat joining Team Liquid?
I'm chilling. I don't know. It's kind of random, so I have no fucking idea. It's TSM/TL Jat / actual TL Jat now. I don't know. I feel like yeah, I don't.
You're just like blown. You're just like, what? They actually picked Jat for their caster. Like, imagine like like casters like Freak and Azael could be like head coaches at some point later on during their career.
Well, the thing is like I didn't play League in like the inception of League, so I have no idea how Jat was as a player. But when he like talked on the release video and like the like what is it? The reveal of like that roster change, like they actually went ahead into detail and like showed like his past like game time and like playing pro, and I was like, holy shit. So he may actually, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like whenever I look at the like game reviews or like the post game reviews, a lot of his points that he always makes don't really seem like they're like way out of place. So I feel like he kind of has like an overall like, I at least give him like a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 like game knowledge. So I don't really think he would be like really bad when it would come to like actually trying to bring something together. Because I was listening a little bit about of what who is it, Ghost Than, whoever was just talking just now. I was hearing a little bit about what they were saying, and that's like super true. Like I feel like at the end of the day, like as a coach, you're not really trying to like tell your team like, I mean, you are telling your team how to play, but at the same time, what you're trying to do is like you're trying to look at the weaknesses and the strengths of the team and like try to pull them together in the best way. Actually, because a lot of the teams, like, if you look at a lot of regions and you look at a lot of like rosters, what they end up doing is they do respect and they try to enable like as much of the meta strategies as possible, but they try to also like involve their own spin on like their rosters, like synergies and like their downsides and upsides. And that's kind of what I guess Jat is. I would assume he's going to try to do with this team, and if he can make it happen, then it'll probably help TL out. We'll see what happens.
But like a head coach position is also supposed to be a leader. Like you look at Reaper on Cloud9, like he's a leader. Like Koma, formerly of SKT, he's now on Vici. He's a leader. Like,
right.
Will you look at Jat as some sort of leader figure?
I think that's too soon to say.
He has earned it. Like he's earned it, so, I say.
Yeah, we haven't ever seen him in that position. He's always kind of just been.
I feel like the side guy.
This whole time that we've seen Jat, he's always been just like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very
behind the scenes type guy.
Well, I mean, like I'm not saying like his position, but I'm talking more about like his personality. He's just kind of like a lighthearted person, if that makes sense.
He's like that friend who would give you advice if you're getting cheated on, but he would never actually go out and get a girlfriend himself, kind of thing.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is like it's too soon to say because we've never seen him in that type of position.
Yeah.
So like I said, I feel like he has fair game knowledge. It just depends on how he goes about like directing the team and like, because like you said, like the thing about a head coach position is you have to assume that leadership position and kind of be stern and like resolute in your choices, and it just depends on if you can display that type of like persona and like gain the respect of like the TL roster through that. Because that's the other side of the coaching like thing. That's why Koma and like Reaper are so good as coaches, is because like they respect the players, they understand the game, but at the same time, at the end of the day, like their word is like is the way. So you have to be that way as a coach if you want to like succeed or thrive. Like you can be like friends and be like mellow with the team and like have like high esteems with like everyone, but at the end of the day you have to realize like your position as that head coach, and it depends if he's able to like balance both sides of that.
Ooh, all right, does anyone want to add anything to this before we move on? Did I forget anything?
Yeah, sure. I was just gonna add. Yeah, when it comes to like leading the team, I wonder if he's gonna be like led by them because he's so new, and that's the concerning thing. Like,
Hmm.
you need to prove that you've got something on the table. Like, if he was to break down a game post game of Team Liquid, would anyone on Team Liquid, like Broxer, Paul JJ, Impact, would they be overly impressed, or would they say, "Yeah, we know that"? So
Ooh.
what do you bring to the table?
Right.
To say,
That's a good point.
why are you here? What's your point?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's the only issue. Sorry, not to cut you off. Like, that just reignited a thought in my head.
I love
The
his
issue
point,
with
though.
the issue with a lot of the NA like shoutcasters that I've heard like recycled a lot throughout the years is, and this kind of harkens back to what you just said. It seems like almost every single time the shoutcasters in our region talk about the game, they state the obvious, and hopefully that doesn't translate into his coaching, where he just like talks about like basic macro stuff that I'm pretty sure they already know. Like, hopefully he doesn't
Yeah.
like hit upon stuff like that, where like he actually is trying to like I said, he needs to come in, he needs to look at what is the advantages and the weaknesses of the team, talk to them about it, and try to find innovative ways to resolve and, if not, expand upon those existing advantages / weaknesses, and do it in such a way where it's actually going to be profound and speak to the players and inspire.
Yeah, because you want them to be like producing something beyond themselves, not just like saying, "Oh, well, you're pretty good at that. Just keep doing that." Like,
Yeah.
if coaching was simply draw a few things on a few strategies and that's good, then anyone could be a coach. Just basic knowledge. But like casters, they seem to just they do regurgitate the same thing, and it's a bad habit if they're going to do that in a coaching setting because it's not going to do anything. Because they just the casters, they're actually just talking the game to the viewers.
Hmm.
They're actually just trying to paint a basic picture to the viewers. It doesn't mean anything to proper pro gamers, and that's going to be a little bit concerning. Is does he have enough justification to say, "I've got something to offer, listen to me"? Because what I'm thinking about is, if you imagine all 5 players, different colors in a different colors, right? And they're all painting. They're all painting a different color, which is what all 5 people do in a solo queue. They're all doing their own thing. As a coach, you want to come along and say, "You're the wrong color. You got to change them individually." And so you need to be doing this like I told you to, and get all 5 to change their color into the same color, and they all paint the same thing. But if he comes in and he's not strong enough, then it's just going to look like he'll come in and say, "Oh, Impact, I like what you're doing. That's cool, man. Yeah. Oh, you did the wrong thing the whole game. We're talking about this, and you did that. Oh, well, I respect you, man. That's cool." Impact will just be like, "I can do my own thing now. This guy's an idiot." Where you come in and say, "Fucking hell, Impact! Like, how fucking hard is it? You're better than that. You can play better than that. Why are you dicking around over there the whole time?"
I mean,
He's
to
like,
be
"Oh,
fair,
you're right."
to be fair with the current coaches, he's kind of been doing his own fucking thing anyway.
That's right.
That's
Exactly.
also true.
But they need somebody. What he's going at is that's the whole significance as to why Reaper is such a different level of coach, because the whole reason why fucking Blabber is even relevant is because they went up to him straight to his face and was like, "You're a fucking coin flip player," and it hurt him so much that he was like, "Holy shit, I need to become more efficient and actually curb that side of my play." And that's the thing. It's that's the fine line that you trail on as a coach. You tell people the stuff they need to hear, but you say it in a way that they realize that it's only for their own good, and you see that potential in people and try to help them achieve that next level.
And Reaper also doesn't tell people to do things that they literally cannot do. Licorice had talked about this in the queue. Reaper will say, you can't play tanks, so you're not going to play tanks. You can't do this, so you're not going to do this, instead of just trying to pigeonhole them into doing something that they can't do, that it's just not their wheelhouse, and then wondering why, surprise Pikachu face, why it didn't work out in game.
Yeah.
Like he was pigeonholed into giving Sneaky weak side because it's all he could play, really. Holy crap, that's gonna trigger some people. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna have to reserve judgment for it. I mean, I want him to succeed. I really want him to succeed. It'd be a great story if Jack could coach his first split and they get to the finals. Though if they get to the finals, I still think C9 would actually beat them. But nevertheless, it'd make a pretty good story that in his first split he could do something really well. But yeah, these are some glaring issues. The fact that they went to NA Casters to actually fix their coaching problem. Good lord, Tio, what's it?
Sven will eat Tactical alive.
Good lord, have mercy on his soul. Just like people told me that Caps could beat Sven and ADC if they went to MSI. What kind of crack are you smoking? What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe Perks and ADC, but I don't know about Caps.
Someone said that freaking like Double F lost to a crippled and a newly recently swapped ADC last year. I was like, no, Mickey X was on a cripple. Like, what's wrong with you? He'd actually fixed his wrist literally before they even had that match anyway. So it's just people, who obviously don't know what, League goes through. They just sprout a bunch of Reddit misinformation. But Ghostan, is there anything else you wanted to say? Did you have any last parting thoughts on this one?
No, I hope Jack can do well. Like, I don't want him to fail.
You good, man? You having a good time?
Are you talking to me now?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it does, like, pique my interest in one regard, though. I think I, like, I told you about it or something, or I left it on, like, the video when you said it.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of makes me think that, like, it's very likely that these, like, names that have been, like, people, so Yamato and LS have been talking about potentially getting fucking coaching positions a lot. I don't know if this is, like, if there's any significance to these rumors or, like, teases, but it's been like 3 or 4 times.
TSM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But LS also wants to stay in Korea, I think, for the rest of his life.
Bro.
All I'm saying is if fucking Jat gets picked up by TL, I think at first I thought it was like maybe a 40 or 50% chance, but now with this shit, it's probably like a 60 that he goes to some type of team. One of the two, like, coaches goes to like a team that we know.
Oof.
Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Well,
Actually, one last thing about it is,
okay.
I'm actually a little bit concerned if you think about Team Liquid's issues and the experiment of bringing in Jat. What is the likelihood of the politics inside of Team Liquid being so bad that no fucking coach could fix it? That's actually a pretty high possibility. The politics could be so fucked up that no one could fix it. God could come in and couldn't fix it. It could be that bad. So, that's my opinion of Team Liquid. I think that there's something really wrong with Team Liquid. So I think that the possibility of their politics being so terrible, Jat could get burnt on this if it goes bad, and he might look bad.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of had I think they kind of have like a Acadian / Sven situation there right now.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
Well, they did. Well, I feel like it's a little less so now that Double is not on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that type of situation of drama where like it's affecting like the team overall.
So as this last thing on Team Liquid is, well, I'll have a live stream later on tonight or tomorrow. Depends on when my friend gets off work. Do you guys actually think this can get TL, at least not first place again? Because right now, I think C9 is going to be the first place team for a little bit of time. It's usually how all this works with a lot of the regions. Does this at least, with Jat and Tactical and Double F leaving, does this at least make TL top 3 material again? You know how they have like Cloud9, TSM, TL, and then right now it's got switched around. It's not now Cloud9, TSM, and FlyQuest. Now it's do you guys think that TL can bounce back with these changes next this split coming up? No?
It's too soon to say.
Like on top of that, it's just like you have to Impact isn't trying that much. Jensen seems to be honestly one of the biggest issues on the team, because when he's hot, but when he's cold, he's one of the worst mid laners you can ever see.
To be honest,
I don't see Team Liquid like making that much of a run back. They're not gonna win summer finals, I'm sure. Double Lift will make sure that they're not gonna win finals.
Yeah, you're right.
And then on top of that, like, there needs to be roster changes. Like, Tactical's a good player, don't get me wrong, but Jensen's time specifically on the team is up. Impact, I think, is just playing badly because he's depressed, maybe, because how they were doing, because Impact has never been the worst player on the team.
I think Impact is going through like a crown situation.
That could be it too. Korg JJ is Korg JJ. We don't need to worry about him. Now, Jensen, though, I do think he's not the best mid laner in North America anymore, and I do think that he needs to either wake up and just be consistent, or just Steve needs to get rid of him.
I agree.
Honestly, though, does anybody else think that Jensen's probably low key like a drama queen?
100%.
I'm getting that vibe. Like he's kind of just low key because I don't know, just like with the statements during the season where he was like, "I feel like I'm the only person doing anything on the team." Like that just made me.
He was right though. Like at that moment,
I know it's true, but it's
like we'll know this more. But like whoever Double Lift shakes hands with or hugs during the walk around will know. And I think Jensen's the player that was really pushing the complaints against him the most.
Because remember, yeah, go ahead. First.
It would be Jensen and it would be Korg JJ.
Think about it. He said it in his fucking video, dude. Like, if he was dude with the support that he went to MSI finals with, you would assume he would be the number one person that he would thank in his goodbye fucking video. He even mentioned his name. He mentioned Broxa, a player that he's only played with for
he only
like
met Broxa for like
split.
He was only
and he mentioned him and Steve over fucking Korg JJ. I guess the best support.
Brox is a huge positive force. And Korg JJ just got tired of Double Lift shit, I'm sure of that. And that's not Korg JJ's fault. And Double Lift, I'm sure, will be the first person to admit that. The issue is, knowing Jensen got more mad about that because mid-jungle synergy is a thing. And then if jungle was focusing bot more, then you could really just see, like, maybe some, like, type of schism there.
Well, like, I mean, also, you have to look at Jensen's history just as a player. I mean, he was super toxic back in the day, which a lot of players are. I mean, that's kind of a thing. He did get banned. And then he leaves C9 after one of their best international tournaments ever because he got benched like 6 months prior. Like, that's, to me, that is super childish. It's like you got benched because you were being a little bitch and you weren't doing your job, and then you started doing your job because you didn't want to get fired, and then you leave because you didn't want it. Like, honestly, as a C9 fan and then also just as an adult, Jensen's attitude towards Cloud9 after getting benched and then going to, because I want to win a domestic tournament. Well, how's that working out for you, buddy? Did you do really well at Worlds? What are you doing about your trophies now? Are they fucking happening for you? So to me, I think that Jensen is definitely a fucking drama queen. Also, back to your question, I still think things are yet to be determined. However, if the problems were Doublelift and head coach, just specifically Doublelift and head coach, then yes, there's a possibility that things could definitely be better for Team Liquid and they likely won't be in ninth. If the problems are deeper than that, then no, they're fucked.
I truly believe the problems are Jensen related. I think Jensen might have gone to the coaching staff to complain about Doublelift for sure. He would be the one to do that. We know that Impact and Doublelift seem pretty chill with each other, and again, it's not like Jensen, of course Jensen had valid complaints, of course it's in a Doublelift video, but Jensen could have used Doublelift's performance as an excuse to not try as well.
Maybe. I think there is a definite issue with Jensen, but I think there's a few other things to consider. So they got a Korean coach, right? So at the time it was Team Liquid, coached by Korean. So you've got Korg JJ, who also Korean Impact, and Jensen. And Jensen sort of plays like a slow, passive, doesn't talk much. You know, he could sit there for 40 minutes and do nothing, like Korean style, right? So from what I gather, Korg JJ would be wanting to follow suit with his coach because, you know, from tradition and respect, he's respecting his Korean coach. So I think that what's going on is, you know, Korg JJ who's saying to Doublelift, let's follow what the coach is saying, but the coach doesn't say shit. He's not a proper leader. He's just a Korean analyst, kind of like Korean style, where Doublelift is like, let's go blow shit up, let's go do something. But Jensen never talks. So you've got like this passive aggressive drama like high school girls, where Jensen's going behind people's backs. But then CoreJJ is telling Doublelift, but let's just do what the coach is telling us to. And Impact's like, I don't know, I'm just a fucking tank and top lane, I'm not doing anything. And then they say, well, jungle's fucked, so fuck everything anyway, so who cares? And Doublelift is like, let's go do something and blow shit up. So I think that CoreJJ is like, let's just do the right thing. You know, he's like, come on, Doublelift, let's do the right thing. Jensen's like, it's not my problem, it's not my fault, it's everybody else's fault. Which is, you know, his narcissistic or maybe like selfishness that's going on. Impact's just fucking gone. So I think the whole thing is kind of fucked, obviously. But I think the back talking and the quiet passive aggressive shit is really killing it. I think if Jensen was able to talk more and be honest about how he was feeling and talking to people, then you wouldn't have these issues, because I think that they really betrayed Doublelift in terms of communication and being direct, because he's like, no one's been direct with me. Mm-hmm. So like if Jensen just went man to man, or all of them just went man to man, and the coach, they all just fucking sat down, had a problem, and they didn't talk behind each other's back, then you wouldn't have that. And Jensen is certainly adding, he's like, what do you call it? He's like a perfect storm, and Jensen's like fucking enjoying it. You know, like that in a bad way, because everything's fucked. That's what I get.
You mentioned like that high school girl thing, and you know, being that I understand how high school girls are, because I was one. They can be seriously catty, and they can talk about you behind your back. And that was the other thing that Doublelift mentioned, was that his teammates would tell the coaches their problems with him, but then they wouldn't come talk to him. Now, in a professional setting,
I hate that.
You wouldn't go and talk to your coworker and say, hey, I think you're messing this up. I think this is an issue. You would talk to your manager because you don't want to overstep your bounds. However, I do agree with this. They need to be having a sit down and kind of discuss some of their issues, because it sounds like what they're doing is they're blabbing to the coaches. They might be talking to each other behind Doublelift's back. Doublelift has no fucking clue, because the coaches aren't saying, hey, this is an issue that your team is having. They're just saying this is an issue that we as coaches are having. So he doesn't actually know that his teammates are bothered by him. And so I think that actually causes more issues.
But this is a problem too, is like he did kind of bring this on himself though.
Oh, I'm definitely not saying that he's not at fault, and he even admits it as well.
Yeah.
But if you're having an issue interpersonally with the team, not just, oh man, our game really sucked, we had no communication, we had no macro, you know, that kind of thing. That's kind of a different situation. But when you're actually having interpersonal issues, you need to actually touch that. You need to actually go to the core of that. And it sounds like they haven't done that at all. They're just doing this passive aggressive. Well, I'm going to tell the coach, and the coach is going to tell Doublelift, but they're not going to tell Doublelift that it's actually from them. And then there's going to be multiple issues because they're not actually really just talking about it with one another. It sounds like Doublelift is probably the only one that's just like, yo, you're being fucking stupid. And everyone else is like, psst, 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 did you hear that I thought the Doublelift was really stupid? Psst, psst, psst. like, and that's just stupid shit. Like, you're adults, like, talk to each other.
The other thing that I had to bring up was, remember how Jensen left C9, and then in that pastry time video, he said that he felt like he was the only one carrying his team? I felt like kind of like that was a low-key jab at like Sneaky, kind of, from back then standards, because like he'll always say things like that. Like he felt like he's the only one. Yeah, he did say he left C9 because he wanted more, what was that, veteran players, or he wanted to not be the sole carry on his team. I mean, if you look at when he left, Licorice was really good, Svenskeren was self-sufficient, Zeyzal was like, you know, pretty decent at that point, and who else did you have? The only person you could kind of consider a slacker was Sneaky. So, I mean, I definitely wouldn't put it past him, but you also have to put CoreJJ into that too, because, well, they are laning together. So, you also got to factor in that this person that CoreJJ came over with is kind of like not trying anymore, and the Korean style is to always work, and your partner is basically just chilling, not caring about the split. That's my 2 cents about it, if anybody else wanted to chime in.
Well, they could be using that as the scapegoat, right? Mm-hmm. They just say, well, it's Doublelift is a problem with everything. Which is most likely what people will do. They'll just say everything is the fact that we had no jungler and a double lift. It's a really crappy thing, but they just find a scapegoat, blame it, and then kick it. It happens in a lot of teams. That's really bad to see that.
Well, it's the thing, like when I was listening to Doublelift talk about this whole thing, I got very big flashes of like the Sneaky situation where he kind of felt pushed out and that no one wanted to talk with him. The difference between the two is that Doublelift made a vlog and actually thought about what he wanted to say. Sneaky kind of talked about it on stream, which doesn't really work because then you're just kind of saying what initially comes to your mind. You might not actually be talking about like the real issue.
Yeah.
And Sneaky had a tendency to not really take full responsibility because he was very much, this is a team game. This is a team effort. We make mistakes as a team. We lose as a team. We win as a team. Versus their, Licorice and others' mindset on C9 was these are individual mistakes. Team mistakes are a completely different thing, but you have to take responsibility for your individual issues, which is what Doublelift did in his video, taking responsibility for the shit that he did wrong. But for the rest of it, he talked about how he didn't feel like his team was wanting to play with him anymore. And that to me is just a sign of like teams not actually like really getting to the core of these issues when you have interpersonal problems between the players.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can literally see, like, just to give you an example, I can literally see that this would be one case, and this is not like anyone is at fault, but this is probably what's going to what happens, right? Is Doublelift and CoreJJ are hanging out. Doublelift sees something, which he sees a play that can be done. He'll call it, and then CoreJJ will say, no, we shouldn't, because our coach said do fucking nothing for 40 minutes. So then Doublelift says, no, man, we're good, we got this. We got to do something, because no one fucking does anything on Team Liquid anyway, right? Only him.
Yeah.
So he goes up and he says, let's fucking do it. So he goes up, starts to play, and it goes bad, and then maybe one person dies or something, and they lose a dragon priority or whatever. What will happen after that event? There's no one's fault at that. If you see an opportunity, you go for it. You back yourself, and you all commit, and you all go all in, and you say, "We gave it our best. It was a good try," and then you just cut the drama there. You died or whatever. You just cut the drama. But what would happen is, CoreJJ would say to the coach, "Yeah, man. Well, I told him we shouldn't have done it because we were supposed to play Korean style and do nothing for 40 minutes. But he saw a play and he wanted to go for it. I told him not to, but he didn't, so he went for it." Coach says, Doublelift's a problem. Is he the problem? No, he's not. He's the only fucking person who's trying to do something. It looks like it. But then you can see the same thing will reoccur with Jensen. He'll say, well, I just didn't want to do anything because I was going well in my lane and he came along and fucked the whole thing up. Yeah, but you're not going to do anything anyway. You're just making yourself look good in mid lane, getting good CS. And that would be the reoccurring thing, that we continuously have this situation. But in the team environment, it's just like you make a play, someone makes a play, you make the call, and you commit. You die, that's it, fine, cool, no worries. Like, you just goldfish, forget about it. Nick's good player. But they drag that shit on to the coach, and it just comes back as a loop. Doublelift's a problem over and over and over. But he's the only one, like tall poppy syndrome, whoever is the odd one out they cut. That's basically what's going on, but he's the only one who's wanting to start something. So that there would be a prime example of exactly what goes on and the shit that they have to deal with.
And that sounds like lack of trust, too. Like, Blabber's, like, for instance, with C9 and Blabber, like, he's been definitely more reined in. But you remember, I mean, he used to be, like, the Leroy Jenkins of League, just jumping in. But his teammates would trust him, and they would jump in, too. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, okay, well, that's something to learn, and that's a learning point. But they would still trust him to make, to know what he was doing and to follow suit. And if Doublelift decides to go in, but CoreJJ is not going to trust him and follow through, the play doesn't work. If CoreJJ goes in and says, all right, I'm ready, let's do this, it might actually work out better. It sounds like they don't trust one another.
That's right. And like you see the same thing with Niski and Blabber when they played against TSM the first time, where it was Renekton mid versus Kiana. Blabber was in the bush, he started fighting Gragas, and Niski's like, yeah, let's go for it, and they both get blown up 2-0. But they both commit, they both nosedive, but you don't see them bickering like little girls at the back saying you're fucked up. No, I fucked up. You fucked up. It's just like, get on with it. It's like, okay, you gave it a go, fucking whatever. Just move on.
Yeah.
But you committed hard, you both died. You want to see commit hard and both die, rather than one commit, the other one says, fuck that. You fucked up. I'm gonna fucking talk shit about you because you fucked up.
To be fair, he did say that. He did say there was a democracy, like everybody was making their own calls rather than having a specific leader. Like, you know, in G2, Perks is their leader, but they can make their own decisions. It just, you have to run it by Perks, and he's like, okay, yeah, let's do this. You know, there wasn't a leader. Like, people have to understand, like, in anything you go through in life, mostly that's like business or sports related, you have to have a leader. Like, a leader will, you know, give you specific things, and they didn't have that. It was shown in their gameplay also.
Yeah, fuck democracy. You ever seen an army where every soldier gets a vote? Yeah, fucking right. You want to see what an army looks like when everyone's voting? Fuck yeah, right.
No, we need a CV max. We need a.
God no! Holy moly!
And choke out players. That's what we need.
We need Griffin to put a slave contract on Kanavi, and then have Kanavi win a split, and then now Griffin's out of the LCK. What a crazy storyline that also is too. But yeah, so you guys are getting the sentiment from here that you guys don't think TL can bounce back with these changes. It's do you guys think they'll at least make playoffs this time around? Is I'll ask.
Yeah.
You okay?
I also have to go, but my final thought is yeah. But
man, it was great having you, bro. It was great having you, dude.
All right, see you around.
Peace out, bro.
Later.
So did.
I still think it's yet to be seen, because Tactical is super not tested either. I mean, he's played, 3 games in the LCS? And, like, they were, I mean, you know, like, I think, was it 2 of them they won, and then they lost to CLG, and then all of a sudden they put Doublelift back in. So I don't think he's tried and tested yet, so I'm not really sure.
He could end up, like, definitely. I really hope not, but... Like, you just gotta be careful.
Constantly so close to winning a split, then just falters at the last minute.
Yeah.
Oof, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, being, like, one of those, like, really hyped up. Or he could end up being, like, Mike Young. We just, hopefully not, but those really good players that are rookies and then don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, man. LCS has quite a bit of them. Like, good lord. Why does FlyQuest Academy have MASH? Holy crap. Good lord, man. That's a holy moly. I don't know. I won't say it's either top 3 material yet. This is like obviously before power rankings come up for summer split, but oof, they still have really good players because this is the narrative the Riot broadcast is gonna sell people. It's like, oh yeah, but they still have Broxa, world finalist from 2018, Impact, Core JJ World Champions, Jensen, MSI finalist, and 2-time split winner. Yeah, but those are just achievements. Those are not that's not indicative of what's going on right now. You know, that's not what we're looking at right now. We're not looking at their hyped up history. We're looking at their play right now, and it just isn't really seeing it. But unless you're going off like blind faith, which most TL fans will do, they'll just tell you, yeah, we're gonna be 3rd place. It's like, okay, hopefully that works out for you. But now, for Otego, do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, well, I'm actually thinking they might crash and burn.
Ooh, man,
just think Broxa and Jensen. Just think, how the fuck are they going to work together? Broxa's fairly quiet, Jensen's quiet. You need to have you need that duo to work.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuse not for it to work. Can they get along, and can they work together? And I don't know, what do you guys think? Because if that can't work, they're fucked. Like, 100%, they're gone.
That means they got the Broxa deal for nothing, because, like, they got it for better mid-jungle synergy, and Doublelift said, I didn't want to get rid of Smithy. Now, before we jump to his point, I don't agree with Doublelift where they should have kept Smithy. You were not winning with him. You were only winning with him here, that is just not good enough. Like, from TL's point of view, before the season started, that's not good enough for them. Because they already proven they could win here. Xmithy is not going to win you international titles. We've seen him enough times at international events not win anything. I think that TL wasn't wrong in their decision to change him. I just think that Doublelift wasn't seeing it from the org perspective. He was just, I played with my friend. We won. Yeah, that's cool and all, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, in terms of, like, winning actual things outside of the region. Do you guys think that TL
honestly, though?
Yeah, sorry about that.
all I was gonna say was that, like, honestly, I feel like they should have. I feel where his perspective was that they didn't respect his like input into that decision.
Yeah, that's
which
what
I
I
feel
got
like
from
is
that.
pretty huge, considering the fact that this motherfucker has like carried like lots of games and put your work on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't like that's kind of like if Bjergsen like wanted fucking, I don't know, like if Bjergsen had some jungler on the team and they actually came back and won. Actually, that is exactly how it would be if like TSM ended up winning like 2 consecutive splits with like a specific jungler that Bjergsen specifically was doing really well with, and then they just removed him without like any like question or like recommendation or opinion from Bjergsen, and it's being
but
like
Bjergsen has percentage in the company, like in the organization. You know, but Double F doesn't.
Yeah, if you want to be like specific with like the numbers, but they're still like the respective players of their org. Like fucking Double Lift is DL, so it's like to say like, oh, we don't give a fuck what you think, or like we're just gonna get rid of them because we feel like that's what's best. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It's got a significance behind it, I guess, if they wanted to move into the mid jungle 2v2 like play style, but. And again, we don't really know specifically what happened. Maybe they did consider it, but they just didn't care.
What do you guys think about Otego's point? You think they crash and burn after this, or they're gonna get back to at least top 3 material, or at worst playoffs?
I would say like 4th.
TL 4th again.
Would be
Okay.
their highest.
Well, how well do you think that Broxah can get along with Jensen? Jensen, if he's a bit of a drama queen, that's my point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Jensen's a bit of a drama queen, Broxah just wants to play, will they be able to work in synergy? Because I'm not sure. Because if that doesn't, they're completely gone.
Because you're right about that. Nemesis and Broxah were fairly quiet players. That had its problems back in 2019 spring and also 2019 summer about, Fnatic said their mid jungle duo was fairly quiet, so they had to make up for it in other places.
And then Nemesis, out of the 2, Nemesis talks way more than Broxah. And Jensen's no way, Jensen's not going to talk as much as Nemesis, no way.
My boy.
So,
oof.
Yeah.
OPTSM. Oh, he muted his mic. Oh, my boy OPTSM fan is here. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. Just to catch you up on everything that happened, you didn't miss much. What do you think about, first question is, what do you think about Jack joining Team Liquid, and do you think with these changes, can TL at least get back to, playoff material?
I think even if they didn't change, they'd be playoff material.
Okay.
I think the Jat thing is, some people view it as, a what signing, and then other people, view it as, a horrible signing.
What do you view it as?
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Jat lives and breathes League of Legends, and he's a former player, obviously an analyst, caster, color caster, and has been on the Balance team before. And I just think that he might just be a good fresh voice, which is maybe just what TL needs. But for the side of Jat, I don't think it's an easy situation for a new, fresh coach to go into, to where he, while maybe his knowledge of the game is good, he has not had the opportunity to present it to a way that was a teachable way for a team. So that'll be something that I think they're going to start working on during the off season right now.
Okay.
So I do think that overall it should be a net positive just to have a new voice in there, and I respect Jat. So I think it should be good for them. But
Yeah.
we lose TSM Jat for TL Double Lift, I guess.
Okay, guys, let's go. And this is gonna boil into TSM next because it involves Doublelift and the whole Lena thing and Thorin thing. So, people are getting this idea of poaching and a bunch of he said, she said. Personally, for me, people need to understand if it wasn't a big. This is just on the dating point, not about the league point so far. Is that if it wasn't a big deal for them dating before, why is it a big deal now? But you can throw that into poaching and shit like that. I'm not saying anybody did anything. What I'm saying is, I don't think the dating is what people should be focusing on at this current moment in time. That is who cares at that point? I could be dating Otego or TSM fan, but if we're literally winning championships, it doesn't really matter actually anyway. Also, if you guys have watched competitive sports, traditional sports like baseball and basketball, people in the industry date each other anyway. They just they're just like, I'm not gonna say adults because that's gonna sound kind of harsh to people, but
They
like,
don't involve it in like this shit.
yeah, super professional. They're like, okay, that's my outside life. Doc Rivers, the whole Stephen Curry thing, LeBron James's thing. People in traditional sports are a little bit more, I would say, more grown adults with these type of situations. They don't really go on like Twitter and say a bunch of things. They do, but it's not like to this extent. So I want to get everybody's opinion on the whole situation. Whoever wants to chime in first can go ahead.
So I'm a little bit torn on this because you're right. There is a lot of people that date in different types of settings and things like that. However, with it being the president of the company, of the organization, that seems a little bit suspect. And I know that people have brought up like, well, why wasn't it a conflict of interest when he was on Team Liquid? Because he's dating the president of the other team. What happens when he beats them? Things like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually a little bit more complicated when you start working for the same team, because what if there are issues like, whatever's happening on Team Liquid, right? Say that some of that stuff happens again with TSM. Now, that's not to say that would, because, Doublelift is really excited about working with Bjergsen again, working with Biofrost. It seems less likely, but say he gets into a thing with Broken Blade, right? And Doublelift's clearly in the wrong. And it goes all the way up to Lena. What is she going to do? Is she going to be completely neutral? Is she going to side with Doublelift because he talked about it with her outside? Is she going to? And if she sides with Broken Blade, would Doublelift get upset with that, or would he realize it's all business? It's not to say that those things would happen, but those things could happen.
That's a conflict of interest.
That being said, I literally don't care. You date who you want to date. If it's not hurting anybody, it's not hurting anybody. But I can see the conflict of interest popping up because those situations could happen. Now, because you mentioned like, oh, if they're winning, who cares? Right, but what if they start losing? Yeah. Do we start pointing fingers? And then what about Dardoch? Does he gank for the person? I saw this on Reddit, so it's not really my original idea, but does he gank for the person who has percentage in the company, or does he gank for the person who's dating the president of the company? But it really does kind of bring up some of that stuff where it becomes a little murky. Again, this being said, I don't really care. I think that Thorin and Monty are kind of going a little bit off the rails. The LCS, they did their investigation. They say that nothing's going on. I honestly don't think there was anything like poaching. My only conflict of interest worry was just literally because if there are internal issues in the organization and Lena sides with Doublelift or doesn't side with Doublelift, what does that mean? Would there become problems in the relationship because that, or problems with the company because of the other? But I literally don't think there was anything like poaching going on. It sounds like Doublelift wanted to go there. That was where he wanted to be. So I don't think anything like that happened, but I would think about those types of situations because he's dating the president and not just dating like a random intern or their social media manager or something like that.
All I gotta say is the Thorn video was funny as fuck.
That was very funny. I'm not gonna lie about that. That shit was hilarious.
He got so mad.
Like I was like, bro, chill. Like, people know me. I like Thorn's content. I think he's very smart about the game.
You need to respect the Kobe Bryant of these sports, please.
Bro, he was like, I don't fucking care.
Well, fuck TSM 24/7. Fuck their players. I'm not having them in my shows.
You're trying to say that I don't give a fuck about Doublelift. But the thing is, everyone Doublelift went to Worlds, and he lost. I actually was in his corner. I gave him messages. I told him, it's alright. You can bounce back. You can be a great player still. Don't even be worried. Like, he was like going off. I was like, holy fuck.
Oh my god.
He was like, but when y'all say that I'm nitpicking and getting in his grill, and it was just ridiculous.
Like, bro, I mean,
pretty good impersonation.
That was a great impersonation, actually. That was good. Sorry, TSN fan, you were going next. What did you want to say?
I basically agree with everything Nero said because my biggest problem was that people were saying there was no way there was ever going to be a conflict of interest. And it's like, if you can't see it, that's my problem. Mm-hmm. Because while other people have dated before, even in like regular sports, nobody really dates in the same org. Like, people can date across orgs, and that's fine. And family members being on orgs is a little bit weird, and sometimes maybe the fact, like you mentioned, the Doc Rivers thing. Like no one ever really questioned Doc when Austin was playing for him, right? But maybe that's a man thing, and that maybe that we're seeing a little bit of that in some of the community. That because it's like a male to female relationship, that they're like, but what if there's emotions involved and people don't make right choices? And it's like, well, that's not fair. What I do think is from this whole thing is that is somehow missed a lot when talking about it is just what happens to Kabe. And that was my biggest thing when looking at this, because like you can maybe say that Doublelift is the best AD carry in North America, and that's fine and fair. I still think Kabe is a very, very talented ADC that just really was in a bad position between not having his girlfriend here and then COVID and being alone and in a new place. So things that I have experience with being in a new place and having like COVID affected to where you're extremely isolated more so than other people are. And so like that's my biggest takeaway from the whole thing is that like if there's a conflict of interest, that's fine. It would be very par for the course for TSM to have internal issues, and now this time they can just cover it up with internal issues between Lina and Doublelift. If that does happen, not saying it will, but I do think it begs the question, like, with Doublelift coming here, he's a very vocal member. Like, what other kind of demands or requests would he have outside of, obviously he already has Bio and Bjergsen. It's like, does he like Broken Blade? Does he like Dardoch? Do they make a coaching change and stuff like that? Like things that he was talking about in his vlog about TL, which I felt like that whole thing between him and Dodo was really
bad.
I think I don't mean to say this in a very I'm not taking a side way, but the truth is definitely somewhere between the middle, because there's no way that Doublelift is saying they never gave me any feedback. That's it. And Dodo says we gave him feedback, and so it's like, okay, which one's telling the truth? Even like Travis Gafford was talking about, like how Peter is known to be hyperbolic in the way that he views stuff, and so and I can't imagine a coach just benching someone without telling them why or giving them like heads up, like, hey, you are about to get benched. Like, there's no way it should have come out of left field like that. So
the thing I wonder, not to cut you off, but the thing I wonder is if Doublelift, because he's a very blunt person and just kind of right to the point. I wonder if he just doesn't understand subtlety, and there's a possibility that maybe they were telling him this, but they weren't blunt with him. They were being subtle. Like, they were trying to hint to him, like, hey, this is, if you keep up with this stuff, you're going to get benched. And he was waiting for them to literally say the words, you will be benched.
Yeah, he did mention that in his vlog too, that he's like, I just want people to like be upfront with me. I don't feel like you're attacking me personally. Just tell me exactly what you want. And while that is a good trait and a character flaw at the same time, because like not everyone deals with that, because a lot of people avoid conflict as much as possible. Especially when you're dealing with like gamers, like no one really likes to like be agitated towards people. I think like my initial read on the whole Dodo thing was like, I kind of agree more with Dodo, and even if he's like not being 100% truthful from a coaching perspective, it all made sense. And I think there was a really good moment on Hotline League where Raz got on and started talking with them, and Mark Z, because like they're both a former coach and a current coach of an academy team, and he said that as long as it wasn't like, hey, we want to, you're back from being sick, but we did really well with tactical, we want to split time, and then Double was like, no, choose between me and him. As long as it wasn't like that, then I can see more of Doublelift's size. But if it was like that, it's like, okay, come on, dude, really? So I hope that to tie it back to the Lina thing, if I don't think it's ever going to come down to that because of maybe the relationship, or just because I don't see who's their AD carry in Academy like overtaking Doublelift, but it's gonna. it allows more problems to be present, and the hard thing is that even if there's nothing there, it'll always be a narrative throughout the entire season when anything starts going south for TSM.
Yeah, it's just going to look fishy no matter, even if they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just look fishy in the eyes of everybody else, and especially Monty and Thorin, who I'm sure will be seeing tweets from them the entire split if things go wrong. But yeah, I mean, it does bring that kind of thing up. It's just kind of like a black mark that doesn't need to be there.
I don't like the whole.
Wait, hold on. What happened, Japes? I can't hear you.
Oh, all I was saying was I can just see it right now. It sounds funny.
Oh my lord. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so my take on it, I think Doublelift and his girlfriend, Doublelift will be set in his eyes, and so will she, to become world champions. That will be their goal. I mean, they're not going to become world champions, but they're going to want to become like a world champion team. So, with that in mind, Doublelift is really straight to the point. So he'll be top dog in the environment. She'll be the queen and he'll be the king. Not because he is, like, he's not the president, but the way that he'll be wanting to lead the team as a leader with the people around him and as the coaches. Well, as a coach, he'll be wanting to push them to become the best in the world and try to mimic the best teams in the world. So that will be their drive. And as long as he's like up front and everyone is wanting to become world champions, then there won't be a problem. They will, like, as long as they're transparent and they're straight to the point, there won't be any issues whatsoever. Because it'll be like, Doublelift will say, "You fucked up. You should have done this," or "We should have picked this champion. You picked that champion shit. We need to be like world champions. Don't pick that." And then all of them will say, "Yeah, you're right. Let's be the best in the world." So they can just continuously go onto that line of thought. The only few things that will happen is that Bjergsen has issues, not because, like, everybody has issues, so that's the whole point. Bjergsen has issues, and he has things that he's not good at. Everybody has things they're not good at. So I'm just saying that this person, so he's a big character in TSM. But everybody, doesn't matter who you are, they've got problems and they've got issues. So he is going to have issues, and Doublelift and everybody else are going to have to, like, talk and figure out what he's stuffing up and what he's doing wrong. Because everybody makes mistakes, that's the thing. Like, he's a good player, but he's going to have to say, "Look, yeah, you guys are right, let's fix things." As long as Doublelift and Bjergsen, and they can figure out problems, and it's all just straight to the point, and there's no bullshit, because that's the way that Doublelift likes to play, and that's the best, healthiest way to do it in a guy environment, is to be straight to the point, be harsh, but our goal is to become world champs, right? Like, straight to the point, harsh, direct. We want to become world champs? Yeah, you're right, I'll fix it. Then there won't be any issues with, like, because Bjergsen could turn around and say, "Fuck you, you just think that you can tell," he could just say, "Stuff you, you think that you can tell me whatever you want because you're dating the president," right? He could drop that line anytime. But as long as he says, "Yeah, I think you're right, and I want to become one of the best in the world, let's do it." As long as everybody has that mindset, there'll never be an issue. But if that Bjergsen was someone like Jensen, you'll be fucked.
Oof.
If Bjergsen was Jensen and then he couldn't tell Jensen straight to his face, or other people who can't deal with Doublelift to their face, then there'll be a massive drama. But as long as everyone on TSM are, like, really cool, and I don't think Doublelift will look down on people who are less skilled, because the way that he talked about Xmithie, he had loyalty to the people around him. So anybody that shows loyalty and commitment and willingness to improve and get better, even if it's like, say, Broken Blade has whatever issue, or Dardoch has issue, as long as they all are willing to put in the work to fix themselves, I don't see Doublelift ever saying, "That guy's garbage, we gotta drop him." He'll work with everybody to try and, like, get the best out of them as much as possible. So I think that they'll go fine. They could even become, like, contenders against C9 if the whole chemistry goes well.
Disclaimer, though,
Okay.
he has already said he's, like, stoked to play with Broken Blade, so I don't really think that's going to be an issue. But there's
no,
a
no.
question
Yeah.
for Dardoch.
But that
for
is also,
they haven't confirmed if he's going to be jungler still or not.
Ooh,
Yeah, they might
if
try
they,
him.
if they play Spica, I'm gonna take this
And
fork I have in
The
my hand
reason
and
I'm
shove it in
saying
my
this
eye.
is because there's like a lot of like streaming channels on YouTube for like the player streams,
Mhm.
and none of them, like all of them, show like double lift, like dual wing with like Broken Blade, or like double lift dual wing with Bjergsen. He's doing with every player on TSM except for Dardoch.
I mean, would
So-
you duel with Dardoch if you had the opportunity to?
Well, I mean, the way he's acting, like
That's free LP.
Seems like-
Yeah.
the way he's acting, like it seems like he wants to just like play with everyone. And these like videos are like straight up like videos where he's like playing the game and they're in comms like
Mhm.
talking and shit. So because it makes sense. I feel what you're saying. Like if it was just like Bjergsen and Bifrost, because that's pre-existing relationships, but he legitimately, like, I think it was like on the one where he streamed with what's his face, Broken Blade. He straight up was like talking to him about like season 9 like finals where like Broken Blade almost beat TL with the Vladimir carry, and like they were having that conversation and shit. And he was like, "Dude, you were literally like one of the scariest top laners I've ever faced," and like said all this type of shit. So I have a feeling that might get swapped. I'm not saying it's confirmed, because there's very likelihood that they just maybe have not spoken up about it, and like they're just like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be the jungler. We just don't want to really talk about it or talk about our roster."
What?
Or maybe they're just waiting to announce the roster with the potential coaching change if they do that. But we'll see.
So I do want to ask like a hypothetical though, because this is a narrative I've made for over the past couple of years. But so they all want to be a world class team and they all want to get better, right?
Mhm.
What if they go to Worlds this year? If we even have a World, right?
Mhm.
If we have Worlds, and then they go there, and then Double Lift and TSM end 3-3 once again for like the 4th or 5th time in a row for Double Lift's career. I tend to think, excuse me, if that happens, logic dictates that a pattern is after 3 times. We're already after 3 times with Double Lift not making Worlds, and I'm not saying that looking at that in isolation means he's obviously the problem because he's the only common thread. Because you can look at sometimes where it's like, yeah, the TSM one where he died to Victor, obviously him. The next year with TSM, no, it wasn't him. His first time on TL, no, wasn't him. Last year on TL, he looked decently okay. There were other things going on as well. But it's like, I feel like there's a regression to form with Double Lift teams that I'm not sure if it's the coaching staff isn't, they're just going back to what they know, or it's the players in game feeling the pressure and not being able to like rise up and like literally level up their game when it comes to the biggest stage. So my question to you, when you were saying that they want to like make world class team as long as everyone's there, what if the replacement that you actually need is to replace Double Lift one time? Like maybe not next year. I'm not saying next year. They still have to sign him to a long-term contract because his contract is up at the end of the year.
They actually already did that. They extended him
No,
to
they
2020.
signed him through 2021.
Okay, so at the end of
Year.
2021, like if this is a
Well,
2-year,
Yeah.
if this is a 2-year little split with him, and Monty said it'd be really funny if he did 2 years on TSM and then ended his career back on CLG, so he has a palindrome career. But like that's where I think conflict of interest might come in, because it's not that I don't like Double Lift or I don't think he's a good player. I personally, as a TSM fan, am glad he's back on there, even though I issued my statements about how I could think Kabe is just as good and they could have made him work and everything. That's my biggest thing, is that's like, okay, well, what happens then? Does he just like retire? Like, because like I don't see him like ever being like, yeah, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to wars, like, 100% sure.
Sorry. I was just
Oh,
gonna say that. No,
When
I
it
was
comes
just gonna
to-
say, like, I got it. Oh, sorry. I have to dip. I was just saying, like, later, guys.
Oh no, you're fine, dude. Thanks for coming, man.
No worries.
Oh, take it
See you
easy,
guys
dude.
later.
TSM
Later.
sucks. What?
Later.
Later, bro. Otego?
Yeah, so when it comes to like double lift, I'm pretty sure, I'd say 99.99% sure, the reason why double lift has issues at Worlds is because they don't put him in enough pressure situations. So you have to be under pressure and live under pressure and always be competing with a massive amount of pressure, so that when you go to Worlds or like the big stage, you can handle that pressure. So I don't believe that double lift treats most of the games as seriously as Worlds, where if you look at LPL, so many of those games are like just insane pressure put under those players, and the stage, the environment, they're under a massive amount of pressure. Double lift treats NA like a joke, and he doesn't actually put himself under that pressure situation, and he's a bit of a shit talker. So shit talkers who don't put themselves under pressure, what happens is when they start to feel the pressure, they actually crumble really badly. And it's just the way that it is. If you can be a trash talker, but you work insanely hard and you can handle the pressure, and that's why you talk a bit of trash. But he doesn't play in the LPL or the craziest region to put himself under pressure 24/7. So when it comes to that moment in Worlds, he's talk shit. He's like probably the best ADC for NA. He's got an amazing team of Team Liquid. It comes to that moment, and then they start struggling versus that lesser team in pools, and he cracks. He just says to Impact, because that was, I can't remember who they were playing against, but Impact was on Renekton, and Double Lift was just shitting himself. Literally, he was saying, no, Impact, don't go anywhere. You got to protect me. You got to protect me. You got to protect me. He's just shitting himself, right? So when it comes to those situations, he needs to be able to handle that pressure, so that when he comes to those world-class moments, they can actually tackle that, and he doesn't crumble. And I believe that's the reason why. And to fix that, you just put him under those pressure situations more often during, well, as many games as possible. You try to harness that pressure and drive him so that he can handle it in the normal situations. Otherwise, you'll never get him through Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Neuro, what do you think about what TSM Fan said?
I mean, I don't know. Like, this whole thing is just it's so confusing, and I just keep thinking back to one of the first things that he said, which was about Kabe. I feel like he's just been done so wrong in this whole situation. Like, initially I thought that he wanted to probably go back to EU, and I was like, well, COVID, and he doesn't have his girlfriend, she had to go back and everything, maybe he's just really homesick. And then I found out that he didn't even want to leave the team. And so it really just makes me feel really sad for him, because everyone's all about the nostalgia after the in-houses, and what the hell's happened to Kabe? What's going to happen to him? Like, oh yeah, 2016 TSM or, whatever came back, whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, you totally just screwed out a dude who moved his entire life from the EU to NA, and after a split where he didn't even do terrible, you're just dropping him for nostalgia quake time. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Because Kabe, if I'm extremely candid, I think at their peaks, Kabe has shown more than Double Lift. On a world stage, last split, even in EU, I mean, like, he is. I mean, if you look at the Splice team when they were first brought together, it was like Kabe, Mickey, Wonder,
Sincooks. Oh my god, back in the day.
And Trashy, and like, all of those guys have gone on to succeed, minus Nick Sincooks, right?
And Cold, kinda. Yeah, but I see your point. Yeah,
all really, really talented people, and Kabe was always, no matter what you would look at it, a top 3 ADC, and it's a reason why people last year were like comparing Cody Sun's style of play to Kabe's, because they're like very good, strong, weak side. Don't need a lot of resources. They don't really play for lane, but in team fights, they're excellent, and you can rely on them in the late game. And you never really saw that because TSM never really played that way to where or at least the entire team wasn't playing to protect the weak side the way that they did when they were just perma-ganking top and everything. I felt so bad because I thought the Kabe signing was actually so good. It was exactly what they wanted to get from Sven, possibly, and then they were going to fully dedicate towards Broken Blade being the focal point of their team. And now they have Doublelift back for the nostalgia factor that Nero was talking about. You know what? Regardless if you believe it's nostalgia factor or whatever it might be, but and now Broken Blade is expected to play weak side, or is Doublelift expected to play weak side? Because like you can't just be season 2 and season 3 all again, where you just win lane, win game, and shove all lanes. Like it's way more nuanced now than it was back then. So it'll be really interesting to see that.
My thing is that, yeah, like you guys are right. Kabe did not seem like the player that would come over for a split and then leave. Because if you guys know Kabe and you guys actually watch the other regions, not you guys personally, but you know the people watching, is that Kabe's been on the same team since 2016, like 2016, 17, 18, 19. That's like what, 4 years on the exact same team and all their ups and downs. So it was very hard to swallow that he would just leave TSM after a split. That just didn't make any sense. I didn't even believe that. I was like, there's no way he'd do that. And then you gotta factor in people, this narrative of this year for, well, specifically the LCS, I personally think a lot of these teams are like, yeah, let's just get the band back together. 100 Thieves did it, TSM did it, freaking, what are the other teams that did it? A few other ones have did it. It's like, you know, you guys left each other for a reason, though. You gotta factor in, like, these problems are gonna come up again, and then at some point when it's, like, super, super bad, it's gonna be like, well, we can't kick Doublelift again, because we saw the fans, like, outrage at that when that happened. Oof, man. It's gonna be it's a crazy situation we live in here. You guys have any other thoughts?
I'll just have to head off, so my time's up.
Okay. Well, thanks for having you, man.
No worries. Take it easy, guys.
Peace out. Oh, and now there was just 3. I'm just TSM fan, make me laugh.
Ha!
Oh my god. You're supposed to be the fun guy. You're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm fun.
Yeah. Oh man, haha! NA winning.
I hate you.
There's your joke.
NA's gonna win Worlds in a few years. I'd say. No, I'm not, guys. I'm literally.
I mean, there's always a chance, but so is the same amount of chance for like Oceania, I guess.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
god. Oh, but yes. Next point is, can TSM challenge C9 with Doublelift? So with TSM having their new roster, I guess they do have a lot of potential. Doublelift can be like, you know, best ADC. Bjergsen is like can be at his worst days like the 3rd best mid. Biofrost was at least a top 4 support this split. Broken Blade is also top 3 in his role. Dardoch is, well, he's like 6, I guess, but cannot be enough to challenge Cloud9, because Cloud9's criticism this split was that they weren't challenged. But can TSM, can they be this team? I think that they can. I think this can be the 2nd best team if the cards fall into place. But that's just obviously preseason thoughts as well. So, you guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've seen both TSM and Team Liquid fight Cloud9 this year. Now, TSM was the only team in actual season, not postseason, to take down Cloud9. However, I do think that Cloud9's issue at that moment was, I'm not even sure it was necessarily complacency, but, you know, they were going, I can't remember what they were before they lost to TSM. It was a high number. I'm not sure if it was in the
it was double 12-0. It was 12.
Yeah, it was something like that. And, you know, so after you win 12 games, you're just like, all right, like, I'm good, we're chill, we've got this, like 18-0 right there, we're fine. And I think that they needed to lose that game in order to, you know, to actually like figure out where their mistakes are, what their weaknesses are, things like that, and no other team could really challenge them on that. That being said, we don't really know if it's an outlier, since most of the games that are played are best of 1s. In a best of 5, obviously you can start to see mistakes, which is why Evil Geniuses was able to take a game off of Cloud9 as well in the postseason. but I just don't necessarily know that just because they add double lift that they're going to be strong, or that they're going to be stronger because they had double lift on Team Liquid this split and he got dumpstered. So I guess it's really hard for me to say just at this outset. It also depends on, are they keeping Dardoch? Are they getting somebody else? What's going to happen in the off season before we start summer split? Are things going to change more on TSM? So I'm not really sure just yet. I think it's possible, given that TSM was able to do it before, but I don't necessarily think that double lift is the game changer that will make it, the new Team Liquid C9, rivalry.
Yeah, I think I pretty much am just aligned with what Nero's saying.
Okay.
My main thing that maybe double lift changes is that there's a new voice that wants to be more proactive. The last time we saw double lift on TSM, they were like the fastest, gun in the West. At least in North America. They played very fast and, at a breakneck pace for that time that would rival, not as well, but I think would rival what C9 did this past split. With that being said, I don't know if they just automatically go back to it. And honestly, my biggest thing is that I don't think TSM will be able to make a huge step forward until I see their coaching change or coaching decision that they want to do. Because Reaper has been a mainstay for Cloud9 for like the past 6 years. And they've always done well at international events, and now through, I guess, getting out some problem people that they thought and getting, some new young talent in Vulcan and Blabber, and then someone who felt like he had something to prove in Sven, they have the right combination of, ingredients to create a masterpiece dish on the Rift. For TSM, I think they're like, but Mama's home cooking, that was so good so many years ago. I really enjoy that. Let's have some more of that, and we'll add a little different spice on the top side of the map and see if it works. And we don't know what this TSM iteration feels like. Sure, can they beat them in a best of one? Maybe. They can probably take a game or two, maybe two, in a best of 5, but like current state, I still take C9 like 70-30.
I love you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Dang, I was looking for that love. I was looking for that love. Like, yeah, come on, bro, fist bump.
Yeah,
What?
I can't reciprocate the love because of social distancing. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're right. But it's that bromance love, in a Captain America series where it's like Bucky and Cap.
Okay, yeah.
I'll save you, man. I'll save you. Now, will you jump out of a plane with me? Probably not. But I'll root for you to be alive after you jump off the plane.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh, so yeah. I think at their highest they can match C9, but as of right now, it'd be a real hard pill to swallow if people could try and justify they could be like second place coming into this split. But you gotta factor in each split's different. Not everything boils the same. Most people think that FlyQuest are gonna be the second place team. I guess, but
I'm also interested to see what the landscape looks like, given that if we do have Worlds, this is the split that technically matters towards going to Worlds. So I wonder if teams are going to have a bit more motivation to, and I'm not trying to really give credence because we all know how I feel about that whole spring split doesn't matter bullshit. But, I'm just curious what the motivation will be like for most of the teams, given that this is their chance to actually make it into playoffs and into Worlds. And not only that, but now they're going to do the top 8 teams instead of the top 6. For playoffs, for the double elimination. So I think that summer split is definitely going to change a lot of these mindsets, and I'm really curious to see what that does. That being said, I'm also, and I don't want to derail the conversation too much, but I would have been so curious to see what C9 bot lane would have been like had they kept Sneaky and grabbed Vulcan. I agree with Double If that I think Zazel was the issue, and I'm just really curious what Sneaky would have been like with Vulcan as his support rather than Zazel.
You probably would have seen cosplays on stage. But hey, we're gonna move on, and we at the last topic, and then we can just pretty much talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Is who wins your MSI 2020? Since it obviously doesn't exist, so that's why, hence the topic. You have JDG, who just won the LPL. You have T1, obviously everyone knows who that is, Faker's team, G2, and Cloud9. You can make up your own brackets about who faces who in semifinals. You can make up your own finals, but who overall wins your MSI 2020? If these teams, obviously, we're going to make it to top 4. Also, I know about the PCS. I watch it, but it's pretty horrible. They're all a bunch of TSMs, so yeah, no, they're not making top 4. But you also got to factor in, this is our own hypothetical situation, so yeah.
I don't care what the bracket looks like. The winner would be JDG. I 100%.
That's a hot take.
No, I actually don't think it is. I don't think it is. They were my second. Like I wanted Top Esports to win because I'm a huge Knight fan, and they had Knight, Karsa, 369, and Jackie Love on that team, and they went 5 games, and they should have won in Game 4 if they just would have banned GP. But Zoom is the best top laner in the entire world, bar none. This guy is undefeated in series since he's been on JDG, and they play a more kind of calculated slow style, and that's why I thought TES could really pressure them out, but they're really good about punishing the mistakes and then being really quick to react off of that in the LPL, so that's why they succeeded. I don't care if they would play T1 or G2 or C9. I think this would be a more legitimate chance for America, like NA, to reach top 2. But if they were to play JDG in the semis, I don't think that would have bode well for them. I think C9 matches up really well versus G2. I don't think that anyone matches up really well versus JDG.
I actually agree with that because people don't watch the LPL, so they're like, oh my god, he's just choosing an LPL team because, they're Asian. No, if people watch JDG, they are actually really strong. They have a really good team. Also, Elmao is actually an insanely strong support. Yagao, he can play weak side, but can also play your carries effectively well too. Kanavi, he's just insane.
That's the MVP of the split.
Yeah, the guy that Griffin tried to slave contract sign.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then now Griffin's out of the LCK. What a great story that is. But, man, it's hard for me. I still gotta choose. Nero, who do you think wins MSI 2020? TSM, right? Right?
No.
Dang it.
Always.
I don't know. I kind of agree about JDG.
I was gonna say, this is gonna be not my personal take, but I think people are gonna be surprised what I'm saying. After thinking about it, all day long, I was like, I could see a JDG T1 final. Because I think that I love G2 and Cloud9, but this year, Cloud9, I think will put up a better fight against their opposition than G2 will. Because, G2, you're factoring in Caps. Caps as a bot laner is not going to be as good as Sven, Logan, especially Teddy. They're fighting a real uphill battle. The good thing about G2 is that they're very flexible, they're very fast, they like to get things done, but the same thing goes with JDG, and I think that we would see a JDG T1 final, and I would probably have to give it to T1, actually. I think T1 is insanely strong. You have Teddy and Effort, who effectively always, more or less so, when lane. Faker has been playing really well. Cuz plays toward whatever lane they need him to. Kana actually has been pretty good, but I do agree he would lose to Zoom. But that's just me personally. I think that T1 would get the crown, but if JDG won, I wouldn't be surprised either. They're also really good. But I don't think this year would be the West year for MSI like it was last year. But I do think that C9, they would almost beat JDG. They would lose, it would be a 3-2 series, but I would also want to see a T1 G2 rematch again. But I do think this time around, I do think that T1 would take it, because I think the difference between Caps and Teddy is not as big. Well, it is bigger than a difference between Perkz and Teddy, because I think that Perkz playing ADC is a lot more effective for them than now the way Caps does it. But that's just me.
I think the fun way that I'd like to see it is obviously T1 versus SKT, and then C9 versus JDG. But I think if you're an NA fan, you want to see G2 versus C9 and let SKT and JDG like take shots at each other. I think that would be the best way for NA to go in there, because while I think C9 matches up best in order with G2, SKT, then JDG. Because I think that JDG would just be able to like give the counter punch that sets Cloud9 on their butt.
Now, if I had a hypothetical where I'm just being a fan of my team, I could see C9. This might sound crazy. I could see C9 winning the MSI. Like, is that crazy to think about from a fan perspective of C9 that they could win MSI 2020 if it had happened?
Not necessarily, but I do think that they would have had a tough road to climb, because it would be, I mean, Licorice has been in international events before, Blabber as well, Niski, and I mean, pretty much all of them, because even Vulcan was at Worlds last year when he was with Clutch. So they've all been in international events, but not as a team. So it's not been tried and tested. So I would be interested to see what their international events are going to look like as a team. I don't think that they would. Do I think that they would like lose in the first round? No, but it would be interesting to see if they could make it far.
You guys are not really on G2 like you were last year. Do you think G2 would have a shot?
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
I think they definitely have a shot. I just don't think they're not fall from grace. It's just they haven't been like downloaded like you would say like other teams who are like really, really dominant for a while, then they get downloaded like we saw with E-Star in the LPL. What I would say though is that the switch between Perkz and Caps makes them weaker, in my opinion. I think Perkz is the better bot laner. And yeah, they're just not like this like untouchable thing anymore.
Yeah, they're actually super vulnerable now that Caps has been playing ADC.
I wouldn't say super vulnerable. I just think that there's more places that they can be exploited.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. So you guys are putting in JDG, I'm putting in T1. No, wow. But if I'm being a fan, it's like I don't know. Like, what if C9 and G2 face each other in the semifinals?
C9 and G2, I think C9 can take it. I think it goes 5 games. I think both coaches are really, really good and able to adapt.
Like Sven doesn't know G2 at all.
Oh, yeah. See? Inside information. Secret double agent Sven. But JDG versus T1, see, that's the matches I want to see, because most people kind of assume if an Asian team faces a Western team, they more or less lose most of the time. But I actually want to see G2 versus C9. That also sucked for me because I love them both. I'm like, God damn, who do I root for? I love them both. And then JDG versus T1, that's actually really strong too. But the issue is that, is Faker a big enough difference to make T1 the winner of that? Because you do have Yagao versus Faker, and Yagao was good. He's actually better than Niski and Perkz, but can he overcome Faker? And then you're also thinking, is Loken strong enough to beat down Teddy? And then you also got to factor in Zoom. Is he a big enough difference to overcome Kana? This is a lot of these nice little hypotheticals here, but these are just hypotheticals.
Yeah, I actually think Cuz is the main difference in a T1, like, C9 series. Mm-hmm. I think Cuz looked really, really good against Gen.G in that series. Kana has done a really, really nice job. But Zoom versus Kana, I think you just give the Zoom. So.
Well, but this has been fun. You guys want to talk about anything else? You guys got any more free time?
I'm down to talk with whatever.
Okay, Neuro, I know you're all busy lady like. You're like,
that's funny.
You got your you got a date tomorrow?
Well, I mean, my boyfriend is over here too, so I guess that couldn't be my.
Oh, are we keeping you from anything?
Nice
No,
point.
no. He's putting
Oh God! I'm
Ah.
sorry. I thought you were gonna play some Netflix and chill situation. Holy crap!
No. You asked if I had a date. I thought you assumed I was single. So I was just like, my boyfriend's here. So he's my date.
Why didn't you ask me if I was going on a date, huh?
Oh, I thought you were going up with me. Are you taking TSM fan?
I'm taken by COVID right now, yes.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no!
It sounds like such a toxic relationship.
Yeah, it's kind of it feels like a virus, honestly.
It's the whole C9 TSM thing, you know. He could say, "Oh yeah, you guys suck in the finals," and I could say, "Yeah, get to Worlds," and then be like, "Well, we both fucking suck actually at the end of the day." But nevertheless, what do you guys want to talk about? You guys on the floor. Anything. We can talk about movies, anime. If you guys want some good or bad news from what I learned in pop culture, Sony's cohesive universe like the MCU is called the Sony's Pictures Universe of Marvel characters. If I got the name correct. Or Sony's Marvel Universe type thing. Yeah, Sony's Pictures Universe of Marvel characters. Holy crap, does that sound good? I'm not in love with the name personally, but that's just me.
I
It
mean,
sounds boring. I fell asleep halfway through that.
it was very long.
Yeah, that's their official name. It's called the SPUMC.
You.
SPU
You
bump.
shit. I was gonna say shit, but okay.
No, SPUMC is spump.
Spump.
Bump.
Holy crap! And you know how they started off this universe? They started off with Venom 2018. Holy crap!
Yeah, that's really good.
Well, I mean, if you start at the bottom, then you can only go higher.
That is also true.
Well, then they should have started with Spider-Man 3. And no, for anime, I'm actually I found a site that I can watch it dubbed because I was watching it dubbed on Netflix and then they stopped.
What did they take away though?
No, it was they don't have it anymore.
Ooh.
It's Hunter x Hunter. It's my first time watching it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's been recommended to me.
I like it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, the Venom sequel is called Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, so I wonder what happens there.
I'm guessing Carnage.
I'm guessing like Thanos pops up, right? No.
That's it.
There you go.
We have solved it, ladies and gentlemen.
And you also have something else. Transformers is greenlit for another sequel coming out in 2022. I'm pretty sure.
I love things that blow up too.
Oh golly! Yeah, I'm not kidding. They literally confirmed it. Yesterday. Paramount Pictures is scheduled to release a new Transformers sequel, live action, for June 24th, 2022. Okay. I mean, as long as they keep Optimus Prime, they're my guilty pleasure. I'll watch it in theaters, but please just keep Optimus Prime. Like, at least if the movie's gonna stink, just keep Optimus Prime. That voice actor is just incredible. Like, I didn't like Bumblebee's, oof. Revenge of the Fallen, garbage. Dark of the Moon is like, okay. Age of Extinction, F. Last Night, F. Bumblebee is like a C. The first, I don't know.
I don't even know if I know half the ones you're talking about.
You only saw one?
I think I've only seen two of them, and I can't recall which ones they were.
I saw the first two, and then I saw the third one in Russia. So it literally was not even subtitled. It was just Russian. And some guy got drunk in the middle of it and started yelling about how much the movie sucks as he was leaving. It was amazing. I don't know what the fuck happened in the movie. I know Patrick Dempsey was in it. That's about it. I literally don't know what the fuck happened in the movie.
Man, that's how most Transformers fans like me feel. We don't know what the hell we got. Did we get fucked while watching this, or
you got to watch it in English?
I mean, like, I don't know. It's just they don't even know what they want to do. Personally, I think that they need to just only focus on the not human characters. Oh my god, sorry about that. The Transformers. That's what they need to focus on. They don't need to focus on like these humans, like, because if they were actually real things, no one would care about the humans in general. Most people don't understand that, but Yeah, let me try and find some other things. There's Vin Diesel. He apparently revealed he has not been the producer of the Fast and Furious movies and wants to be producers of the movies. If you guys are Fast and Furious franchise fans, I don't know if you guys are.
I've never seen one of those movies.
I've seen like 2 of them.
You're
Like
you guys, you're like, no, these are bad.
No, it's not that. It's just I never really ended up watching any of them. So
I actually do have to go at the moment. Someone needs me. I'm sorry.
That's okay, dude. See you
you're
later. Man.
good. Have a good night.
Have a good night, bro. Oh, good lord. What else is there? Have you been watching any new animes or anything?
Well, I'm still getting through Demon Slayer. I am trying to ration, because it is
Long?
it's just so good. No, it's just so good, and I know that there's only one season out right now, so I'm like afraid to like finish it and then be waiting, just like everybody else. I won't get too spoilery, but there was one of the episodes that I just finished recently was they were in the that huge forest with everybody who's like this. They have like the webs. That's how they trap people. And there's a major fight scene where Nezuko and Tanjiro actually like kind of sort of merge as brother and sister. They help one another. And that was just such a powerful scene. It was such a powerful episode. And it was one of those things where you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe that just fucking happened. So that was really wonderful to see.
On Netflix, I watched a movie called B. Is that not B, freaking Babysitter. I was like, what the hell am I watching? A 12-year-old killed a 24-year-old grown man after he tripped on something and hung himself. I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Lord.
Yeah, I know. It's actually pretty. It's like, if you want to turn off your brain and watch one of those movies, go for that movie. Holy crap, it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. Babysitter. No, I didn't want to look up the term babysitter freaking Wikipedia. I wanted a babysitter movie. Good lord. Oh, the information on these things are horrible. But, yeah, going through all these things right now, hopefully, like, the situation with, like, Doublelift and Lena and Thorn and Monty gets, like, figured out. It's like, I don't think it needs to be as big as people are making it out to be, because it seems like it's basically going, like, too big. It's like, it's not that big a deal, personally, Yeah,
like I said earlier, I think it brings up not only just the air that something could go wrong, like it's kind of like this mark that's just going to be there, but also just like the situations I mentioned before, if something does happen internally where Lena has to make a decision and she either sides with Doublelift or doesn't side with Doublelift, what does that mean for their relationship and for the org, and what could that mean if it really starts to become a problem. Other than that, I don't really see that much of an issue to the point where I'm thinking, oh, this trade can't happen, this trade shouldn't happen, but it does bring up these small little issues that one would consider conflict of interest.
Yeah, good gosh, man. It's just like, I think people need to. Not them, because they're actually nice TSM fans. James and TSM fan. It was just that TSM fans need to learn, like on Reddit, what the hell a conflict of interest is actually. Because they're saying like, oh my god, people are just picking on me. They're just like, they don't want us to be happy. Like, no, because if literally, it just kind of feels like TSM fans get away with a lot. Not TSM fans, sorry. TSM the org gets away with a lot because they're popular, but like the TSM fans on Reddit, I don't even know what goes through their brains at the time. I don't even think they are who they are. I think half of those guys are just trolls.
Yeah, agreed.
Oof. But yeah, I don't want to keep it too long.
No, I appreciate that. It is 10:46 here.
Oof. Oh,
I have work in the AM, so I should probably start winding down.
I'm off tomorrow. I can do what I want. I'm just kidding.
I do appreciate the podcast, man.
Yeah.
It's always fun to talk with people and talk about League and things like.
Haven't seen y'all in a while. I thought you'd quit on me.
No, definitely not. I've just been, either really exhausted by work and just been kind of catatonic on the couch watching like reruns of American Dad, Or,
I love that show.
well, it's funny. I've seen a lot of their episodes, but I haven't actually watched the whole thing through. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going through the entire show from season 1. I'm on season 5 right now, and there have been some episodes I've seen, already, but most of the episodes I haven't. So it's been kind of nice to go through it. Mm-hmm. But so I've either been super catatonic, or I've been on the couch watching American Dad and then playing TFT on my phone, because I'm on this like master quest to rank up higher than I did last season. Season 1. I didn't really play set 2. I was like gold 4 or something like that and couldn't get out of it. And now I'm gold 2 and having trouble getting out of it. But there's progress. So I've just been kind of, either beat from work or,
yeah, I can agree with that. God, yeah, like, getting off work so early, like, I hate when I do it, but I hate when I take naps, like, in the day, because I feel like I wasted a lot of what I could have potentially done, but I work so early that I just have to go. Like, before the podcast, you kept me, like, when we doing this, I was like, holy crap, it's 6:40. Oh my god. And then,
yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was happening, and I figured I would just give it a little bit of time before I message, just to say, hey, like, are we still doing this? Because if not, I'll play more TFT. Like,
you're like, frick this, I'm going to TFT.
I'm not obsessed or anything. I can stop anytime I want. Like, what are you talking about? I don't have a problem.
Yeah, wink wink.
The problem.
It's just, people, I had to kick a few people because, they weren't showing up, like, literally ever. And they obviously were just, like, because, there's a separate Discord for people that want to just be in that, but this is not for, like, hanging out and, like, having fun and chilling. I mean, well, yeah, it is, but, like, in the sense that we're here to talk about, like, potential next week's topics and see who's going to be on, like, that's what this group is about. The other group is, like, just talking shit and doing whatever. It's kind of like whoever wants to join can join. So that's why I had to kick people, but they didn't message me back because they knew they were being a part. I've not had certain people on in weeks, and I'd have to message them, and they're like, when's the podcast? I mean, it's literally, you were here. It's like in the pinned messages. It's every Tuesday, 6:30 or 7, depending on when people show up, but, it's just like, I didn't want to have a bunch of people who just weren't putting in any effort. That's just, like, not how I do things.
And then obviously sometimes if there are topics that I just don't have an opinion on, I won't do the podcast, because then I'll just be like, yeah, I guess I agree with that, whatever. And then I just, you won't get anything out of me. But usually there are a lot of topics that I will have an opinion on because I'm pretty opinionated. So
it's hard because next week that, I don't know what topics we even have, because, like, League's not really going on for a month, so probably just create, like, hypothetical scenarios, whatever you guys want to talk about. Hopefully people watch the LPL and the LEC and the LCK, because that way we can talk about different things, because that's why I always encourage people, don't just watch our lovely region NA, because there's much better League outside of this region, and it's by far way better.
Yeah, I think what's hard for me when it comes to, like, watching, like, the LPL or LCK and things like that is just the time zone, because I'm the type of person that likes to watch in real time rather than VODs. The only time I ever watch VODs are for when I'm writing my articles. So it's really hard for me to watch, like, everything in real time because I'm sleeping. So I have problems with that, but I do end up watching the LEC. So it's like the LEC and the LCS are pretty much my two main ones, and I try to catch the other regions if I can.
Yeah, like, people need to, like, NA people, like, once I got over my bias of not liking EU, even though I still love G2, it's like, these movies are, not movies, oh my god, because I'm looking at free movies right now, holy crap, sorry, the, freaking, what's, like, the LEC is fun to watch, like, they have some real shitter teams, and I hate when they're like, oh yeah, our teams are best in the world, no, they're not, like, literally, no, they're not, but, it's like, people gotta get over their bias, and if you want to have an opinion about, like, who's better, you have to watch the other regions. But that's just literally how it goes, because that's why people were so, like, confused that FPX won Worlds. It's like, G2 didn't really get upset. FPX were just the better team. And even I can admit that, and I love G2. People are just need to, like, get an idea of what the other regions are playing. And not even just fully watch them, just at least you watch enough to the point where you have, like, an informed opinion.
Yeah, agreed. I was sort of bummed about that, though, because that was around the time where I started writing my articles. It's when I started to get my stuff off the ground. And that was the first article. It was basically my debut article that I was going to write about. And I woke up at like 5 a.m. to like actually catch like the opening ceremony and everything. And I was so bummed that it was only 3 games, because I'm like, I woke up at 5 a.m. on a fucking Sunday for this. Like lost in 3 games. The only thing I was happy about was that the title wrote itself. It was basically Worlds 2019, Fly Phoenix Fly. It was because the fucking title wrote itself. Other than that, I was pissed. I was like, I fucking woke up so early to catch this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I feel you, because I woke up early too. I woke up like 6 in the morning. I'm gonna watch my team win Worlds. I was like, yeah, they beat SKT, they beat Damwon. They're the best Western team this year. Holy shit, we got our shit just fisted on our. Oh god, we did obliterated.
Yeah, it was rough. It was fucking rough.
I was not happy that day. I was like, what the hell happened? Like, just, and then I had to hear, then the narratives afterwards, G2 weren't that good, you know, they got lucky against SKT, and then a bunch of LCK fanboys. I was just destroying people in debates. Like, they stopped replying because I was just winning, and it was just like, it's hard to defend somebody who literally just lost, but it's like, you know, where was your team at? Not getting out of group stage, at home, watching on their monitors? It's like, come on. You know, like, the one best of 5 they lost all year was the finals of Worlds. Like, that's just crazy if you really think about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, agreed.
But I gotta let you go. You gotta work in the morning.
Yep.
See you later.
Do. One last thing.
No!
Jensen.
No!
If you listen, I apologize for calling you a bitch.
She's lying.
Like, no, I really am. Like, I was just super incensed, because I do get annoyed sometimes with players' attitudes, and maybe it's just because I'm older than most of them, that it just, or probably all of them, that it just really frustrates me sometimes when it's like, oh, you benched me, I'm gonna go somewhere else and take my ball and go home. And so, like, that kind of attitude just really annoys me, but I didn't mean to call him a little bitch. Like, that was just rude. So, Jensen, if you're listening, I didn't mean that. Let's be friends.
No, be friends with only me. All you need is me. Someone said, are you ever going to get, like, guest on the podcast? It's like, probably not. I mean, I'm very, very... It's not, like, I want to call myself small, but, you know, bringing it on, like, big guests like them means I have to be, like, PC, and I really don't want to be. That's just my thing about that. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, if I have an opinion about something and then I hear one of them come on here and try to feed me some bullshit, it's like, I'm the type of person that says, dude, can you please stop lying to me? Like, I literally just saw you do exactly what people are criticizing you of, and then, I mean, like, okay, I understand, like, certain things happen, and, like, these certain things go the way they do, but it's very hard to convince me right in that moment about what you did wrong, and then while you lost, and then someone's just, like, not taking responsibility. It's like, oh, well, you know, it only happened because of this. It's like, no, that's not really what I just saw right there. It's like, did what I just see was a lie, or are you lying to me? That's, you know, but right. That's just me personally. But yeah, I'll see you later. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Peace out.
I'm going to bed. No, it's not 9 o'clock. I'm going to bed. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Oh, duh.